Hi. So I was going through some comments and videos and stuff. I realized that I never really introduced myself or told you guys anything about me besides that I have Tourette's and all that stuff. I just kind of appeared and people started to subscribe to me because I have no idea who I am. So that's basically, I'm not going to talk about having Tourette's or anything. I'm just well, I mean, I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but not really anything major tonight. I'm just gonna talk about me as a person and as a person that you know has Tourette's, but mostly as a person. So my name is Alex, obviously. I just turned 20. I'm in college. I am going into education, elementary and early childhood. So that's birth through fifth or sixth grade. Technically sixth, but generally fifth is the cutoff because here, at least in Iowa, I live in Iowa, most elementary schools stop at fifth grade and then middle school starts at sixth. So basically, birth through age 11 is what I teach. I have emphasis in literacy education, but that's K-8 with a focus on, K-5. Um, I'm a junior right now at college, but I'm only in my second year. I took a lot of college classes in high school, so I'm a little bit ahead. I transferred to the school I'm at now from Cornell College. I spent my freshman year at Cornell, and I was originally pre-med psychiatry, but I switched to education because I realized that although I would love to be a psychiatrist and I love that stuff, I don't want to go to med school and I don't want to be in school for 12 years. So I switched to education, at which point I decided to transfer to the University of Northern Iowa, where I go now. Let's see. I am the oldest of two. I have a little brother who is 17, biological brother, and I also have an older brother who is a non-biological brother. I grew up with him, and he's not technically my brother, but I grew up with him, and my parents were going to adopt him, but then basically his dad decided that he was fit to take care of him at that point. He's actually my cousin, but I usually refer to him as my brother. And he is 25, and he's married and has a beautiful little boy who is my whole world, my nephew. He is 2 years old. He's the cutest thing. I have a video of him on here somewhere because I am pretty sure that he's showing signs of a tic disorder and or sensory processing and or OCD at age 2. And so I'm a little concerned about him. Not extensively, but enough that I would really appreciate it if my brother would talk to his pediatrician about this. Because if it shows up later in life, like it did with me, I hope that they are a little more prepared than my parents were, and more prepared than I was, because I had no record of any tic disorders or problems like that, even though I've had tics my whole life. We just didn't realize what they were until I ended up somehow just something triggered my full-on Tourette's when I was 17 years old, and the diagnosis cut off as 18, and that was really, really tough on me, trying to graduate high school while also undergoing all these tests and everything to try to figure out what was going on with my brain. So yeah, my nephew is 2, he's my world, and I love him very much. Let's see. Let's see. I love school. I love reading. I love art. I love Disney movies. As a pre-service teacher, I've taught kindergarten, second grade, third grade, and eighth grade, and I love it. especially kindergarten, second, and third. I'm elementary, eighth is not really my thing. I'm a sorority, which is awesome, and I'm very lucky to have so many people be so accepting of me. And I wasn't really sure at first, but I was very open to start with about having Tourette's and anxiety and depression and all that. And they have all been very welcoming and have really tried to understand, my brain as much as I do, which isn't very much because let's be honest, none of us really know what's going on with ourselves. No one really knows what's going on with us, so there's that. Um, we're not really sure where my disorders all came from. There's a history of anxiety and depression in my family, or in like that kind of mental illness. Well, it's not very severe in most people in my family. My grandparents both have been on Prozac and antidepressants and stuff for years. So high anxiety and some depression runs in my family. My dad has some emotional issues that are undiagnosed. My little brother was just diagnosed with depression in the past 6 months. I was diagnosed with severe anxiety and mild depression, um, severe anxiety and panic disorder, and mild depression about 3 years ago, a little bit after my 17th birthday, I think it was. And I've been on medication pretty much ever since. I had migraines when I was in middle school. When I was in 8th grade, I had a headache every day. I rode the bus home. I didn't have any other option. My parents couldn't continue. So I would take 2 Aleve. That was the only thing that worked at the time, Aleve. I would take 2 Aleve before I left school, which was against the rules, but they weren't going to give me it, and I really did need it to even get home without freaking out. So I'd take 2 before I left school, and when I got home, I'd sleep the whole way on the bus. My little brother would have to wake me up when we were about to get to our stop, because otherwise I would miss it. Got off the bus, get home, sleep for 2 hours, wake up, still probably have a headache, eat dinner, finish my homework, and go back to bed. So it kind of started in 8th grade that, my disorders kind of ran my life. And that was a really unfortunate thing to happen to me. It's one of those things that, obviously other people have it worse, but it still sucks. And you try to look on the bright side, but you're like, I'm not living, So those kind of went away as I got older. I was put on nasal sprays to keep my sinuses clear because I was prone to sinus infections. Just basically, I don't have a good drainage system in my sinuses, so they get infected really easily. I also had a few infections when I was little, but not enough to get tubes or anything. So basically, I was just kind of prone to ear, nose, and throat infections. I had strep a couple times when I was little, or when I was younger. I had the flu a couple times, but they don't see any relationship between those illnesses and my Tourette. So basically, they've more or less ruled out pandas as a cause, especially because my symptoms were so long after those illnesses for me, those infections. A really long time. I think the last time I had strep, I was 11, 12 maybe, and then my tics didn't really blow up until I was 17. Plus I had really mild tics. I can remember when I was 7, and I would blink really hard all the time, and no one thought anything of it. They thought that I had vision problems, which it turns out I did. I got glasses in 4th grade. So basically all my everything, and I was always really an anxious kid. I mean, everyone just thought I was shy, but really I was terrified of saying anything or answering anyone's questions. And I'm one of those people that's so introverted that people think I'm really outgoing. but really I just get really nervous around people, and it makes me look outgoing because I'm so nervous that I'll just like be really loud and say random stuff and like just be goofy. But it's kind of a defense mechanism. I hate being around people. I'm a very solitary person. I have a single dorm room, partially because of Tourette's and partially because I need my own space. I'm extremely introverted. Like, I used, this is kind of bad, but I used my disorders as an excuse to have a single room, but also because I'm disgustingly introverted. Like, if I didn't have to leave my room ever, I would be happy. I would just sit in my room alone and, like, eat food all day and watch TV. And, like, I like being active and I like hanging out with people, but I don't like putting in a lot of effort towards that kind of stuff. And it's interesting. It's a very interesting thing. Let's see. Originally my anxiety disorder was misdiagnosed as a seizure disorder. That was my original diagnosis. I went through many, like 2 months worth of like EEGs every other week and MRIs and CAT scans and like all this stuff, PETs and tons and tons and tons of tests, and eventually they ruled out seizures. And just about everything else. So my anxiety disorder, my panic attacks and anxiety attacks mimic absence seizures. So I know kind of a lot about seizures because that was my original research point. That's what I thought I had. Well, I knew I didn't have it, but that's what they thought I had. I knew it was anxiety from the start, because the feeling I got surrounding my anxiety and panic attacks, I knew what it was. Let's see. My favorite color is teal. I want to get a tattoo that reflects my struggles, I guess. I struggle, another thing I guess that I didn't really talk about is when I was in middle school, I struggled with an eating disorder, and it was never diagnosed. I hid it really well, but I know that my eating is highly disordered. I would go long periods of time with eating as little as I could to get by. I would usually make an excuse to skip breakfast, eat just a little bit for lunch. I would still get lunch. This is a bad thing. I wasted so much food. It was terrible. I feel so bad about it. I would get the regular school lunch at school so my parents wouldn't find out that I wasn't eating. I would eat hardly anything. I would give my food away. So I guess somebody was eating it, so it's okay. I would like give my food away and I would eat anything. So like a couple bites of food for lunch, and then I eat a little bit for dinner, but I take tiny little portions. So I hardly eat anything, and then, you know, I struggled with that since then. Last spring, so like a year ago, a little more than a year ago, my second semester at college, I basically stopped eating. I lost 20 pounds, which I gained quite a bit from my medications and just like moving in college. I gained quite a bit, but then I more or less stopped eating. I was eating like a piece of toast and 2 apples and just drinking water all day for like 3 weeks straight. It was bad. I was making myself throw up. It was, yeah. So I lost like 20 pounds, and then I realized that was stupid, and so I started eating again, but I just was trying to eat really healthy and like work out and stuff and trying to like heal myself, and then I gained a ton of weight, and since then I've gained 30 pounds, partially from my medication, partially because if I'm not starving myself, I'm probably overeating all the time, and probably have no motivation to exercise. I hurt my knee, so I can't run. I love to run. That's my main form of cardio, so I hurt my knee and I can't do that anymore. And so there's that. I also used to cut myself, unfortunately. I don't do that anymore. I haven't for myself in 6 months. So I'm clean for 6 months. Yeah, that's basically my life struggle. I was pre-diagnosed with Tourette's when I was 17 or 18. 17 I got my, maybe it's Tourette's. 18 I got my, yeah, it's probably Tourette's, for sending me to a neurologist. Finally, when I was 19, and after my first year of college, I went to a movement disorder specialist at the University of Iowa Hospital and Clinics. And was fully diagnosed. I have accommodations at school for attendance, because if you watch some of my other videos, there are times when I'm not functioning normally at all and I cannot go to class and do things like a normal person. It's a lot better now. My new medication is awesome. I've been on it for 3 and 4 months and I've had a hardly any problem. I have accommodations for tests that I don't use, but I do have them if I need them. So, yeah. That's my life in a nutshell. And I guess if you have any questions, you can comment and I'll answer them best I can, or message me. I'm going to do another video. To do this. So, yeah, that's my life. Now you know kind of who I am, except for, like, besides that girl with Tourette's on YouTube. So, thanks for watching.